Members of the public wishing to participate in the meeting must use their full name for Zoom access. If full names are not used, people will not be allowed to participate in discussion. The town reserves the right to remove any member of the public from the meeting who doesn't use a full name or acts inappropriately. As a preliminary reminder, this is, excuse me, the Nantucket Parks and Recreation Commission. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Andre? Nikki?
Here.
And Mike?
Present. Okay, thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Maureen.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. May I have a motion to approve the agenda for today's meeting?
I approve.
Thank you. And we have a second. Anybody opposing? All right. And I will declare that it is approved. We need a motion to approve the minutes from October 19th, October 19th, 2023.
I'll approve that.
Nikki, thank you. Andre will second. And all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. We wanted to begin this meeting with an announcement that there is an open meeting law and conflict of interest training on Thursday, yesterday, Thursday at 6:30 and then Friday, November 17th at 9:30. Maureen, I just have a question. What did I attend yesterday? Was it, you're muted.
Yesterday was a presentation held by the Massachusetts Managers Association, I believe, on how to conduct a proper meeting and how to keep the flow and, timeliness to participants.
So that was different than tonight's and tomorrow's open meeting law and conflict of interest training.
Right. And tonight
Okay.
and tomorrow are going to be the same presentation. It's given by KP Law, Brian Riley, and goes over the highlights of
Yeah.
the open meeting law and conflict of interest.
And is there in the email that you sent us, is there a sign up or can we just go straight into
Pop
that?
in, pop
Okay.
out. And he just sent me his slides that he'll be using. So I'll be able to include those, and it'll also be recorded and available online if you want to, view it at your leisure too,
Okay, great.
if you're unavailable tonight or tomorrow.
All right.
And if you just want to pop in for 10 or 15 minutes, that's fine as well.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you very much. And I think at this point we have to go to election of officers. Is that correct?
I would probably suggest we wait until we have everyone here. So maybe we need to make a motion to move that to next meeting.
To table it?
Yeah, I think it would be, but that way Merrill and we can get Ken here.
I'm all for that. So as long as we don't have a time constraint on doing that. We okay?
I don't think so. We've kind of tabled it since the start of the new fiscal year anyway. So what's another month?
Okay, got it. So we'll table that to next meeting. And then we'll go on to a discussion. Let's see, a future meeting date and time. Again, that probably would also be more appropriate after we have the election of officers. Agreed?
Agreed. And it was just something for the members to think about, as Charlie is going to be tasking the members with additional projects. to have something convenient when people can actually attend and it's not a burden, I
Yeah.
guess is a better way to
Yep.
try and get the participation.
Okay, I understand that. Commissioners, any questions about those two?
No, not for me.
Okay. Andre, you're good?
Maybe
Okay.
between now and the next meeting, if anybody had, days that are an absolute no-go, maybe like email me those. I got, somehow these Parks and Rec and Tree Committee have kind of collided, so I run from one meeting to the next, which is thankfully via Zoom, and they happen here at the office. But if that meeting runs long, I don't want to be late here for all of you. So maybe we could push this back an hour, or if Thursday at 4 is not the best time for everybody, the benefit is we do meet entirely remotely, so we can be pretty flexible, I think.
Okay.
With day and time. So I think if people could just maybe send me days that are absolutely, Monday is horrible, can't do it. And then we'll have to look, obviously, once we kind of choose some dates and times. Maureen and I'll have to take a look at the town Zoom schedule to see where we could to fit it in.
And
Okay.
also when you're if you're emailing back and forth about scheduling meetings, it's not an open meeting law violation to transfer that information and have a back and forth. So
Yeah.
don't be concerned about that. If all of a sudden you chime in on an email chain, that's fine. So just go ahead and give your best times and dates when you're available.
Okay. So I was even thinking everyone could just email me individually to avoid that. But if it's not a conflict, we could just I will send out an email to all the commissioners, then just asking for some options, and then we can look at the internal schedule to see if that will work.
I think that's fine with me either way, given that scheduling does not fall under the violations of the open meeting law. We should talk about that. It's the open meeting law at some point though, because probably have members who aren't familiar with that, commissioners who aren't familiar with that. And I think we have to be ever more careful about the email chains.
Yeah.
That we have.
6:30 tonight.
Yeah.
It'll be there for you.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Because even 3 commissioners talking in Stop and Shop, I believe could be if you've got a farm someplace, you can run into issues as well, I believe.
Well, it was interesting last night because the attorney and they were touching on the open meeting law last night's meeting that I attended. And they said, it's not a violation if you all happen to be at the Stop and Shop and see each other, as long as you're not talking about the issues at hand. Because when you're in a small town, you're going to have these opportunities to meet each other. I saw Maureen at the sideline of the soccer field, and but it's the discussions that you have to be really careful about. And so anyway, I strongly advise that we all see that. At this point, Charlie, I'm going to turn it over to you for a discussion of the Belvidere Athletic Complex expansion project and the master plan timeline.
Sure. So as we all know, we passed the landslide for special town meeting, which was excellent. Thanks everyone for all their hard work, and Mike and Nikki for getting up and speaking to the crowd. That was excellent. It's really the tip of the iceberg for projects and things that are coming through from Parks and Rec. We're actually going to be back at annual town meeting with another close to $3 million ask for the tennis courts down at Jetties and some playground stuff. So it's probably over the next 9 years, they're going to get a little sick of us.
Well,
Being there every year with a little project here, a little project there, but I think it's good for the island. There's a lot of stuff that hasn't happened over the years, and so it's great. Next, as far as the progression of this project, I'll be meeting with the finance department at some point to go through next phases of permitting and planning and contracts and that sort of thing, and hopefully And I don't know if we'll have a chance to get that meeting in place before our next meeting, but as we progress, you know, come up with the bid specs, I'll be sure to keep everybody informed. And again, this will probably be, in my head, probably be a 4-year project. You know, as we kind of talked about before, we'll try to break ground on the new field, then do work on the south field simultaneously, and then I'm really going to be kind of pig-headed and stubborn about giving those the full 2 seasons to grow, so that when we open them up, they're the best fields that they can be for the student athletes. And then we'll take the 3rd field offline, and by that point we'll be ready to get some other projects rolling. So it's a great first step for us.
Great.
I'll go on to, I guess, fall sports and spring sports. So we wrapped up, you know, our fall soccer season. Everything went well with youth soccer. We had some increasing usage, as we know, from NPS, which has been great. And moving forward to the spring, we're going to have a dedicated day on the synthetic turf for NPS to use at their discretion. You know, we're getting more and more requests from them for field hockey or lacrosse or soccer to get on to practice before they go and play a game off island, and it was getting very difficult. You know, I'd get 24 hours heads up. Now I'm trying to call coaches and reorganize, you know, the youth programs as to where they're going to practice and how they're going to practice. So going forward for the spring, Wednesday will be NPS day at the school for the, you know, for Travis, and then to schedule however is most beneficial for them, which I think will be a great use of that asset, you know, for the town and for the kids and the athletes.
Great.
So that's kind of all I have for that, really.
I'm appreciative that you've worked to build that relationship. That's really important. We have too valuable of an asset there not to use it for the entire island. So thank you for that, Charlie.
Yeah, I'll also mention, I just almost forgot, we did award the turf maintenance contract to the company Turf Pro LLC out of Woburn. And so they're of course chomping at the bit to get down here as fast as possible to service the field, because I think they're starting to see snowflakes and everything up in that area. But that will be on select board contract list on the 29th, I believe. And so
Okay.
once that contract gets signed, I'm sure they'll be right down here to disinfect the field, decompact it, do the GMAX test, and give us an assessment report on the overall condition.
Okay. And that with the selectmen is pretty pro forma. You don't need support at that meeting necessarily, right? It's probably on the consent agenda.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll be just lumped into the contracts. I'll probably be on board just in case anybody has any questions. You know, in the past, Matt has had, you know, some questions about the service, so you know, I'll probably be online to be able to answer anything.
You might want to mention that they're trying to gather about the meeting that Dave Fredericks is trying to organize.
Sure. Yeah, this was a meeting we actually were hoping we were trying to get done before town meeting. It's kind of gotten tabled until now, but I'm looking to get into a meeting with the land bank, the school. You know, I'll be there to represent the town and Parks and Rec. I think Mike might be coming to the meeting, and we're going to kind of get together and just look at the overall needs and kind of future planning as to what we have coming up for field use, you know, for field expansion and usage, what the school has. I think the plan is kind of get in a room and talk about options. And, you know, the school, you know, reaching out this year for, you know, like, you know, we had Cyrus Pierce Middle School was playing soccer at the Delta fields because they just kind of ran out of room. And so we need to make sure that as we're, you know, if we can, I always say you plan for the worst case scenario that we never are able to add a synthetic turf field, you know, anywhere. You know, how do we build within, you know, with the school in mind and those student athletes to give them the best experience possible. So I think that plan is going to get in the room, figure out what land we have, what we can use, how the land bank might be able to help. So that should be a good meeting.
And I think we're being careful not to have more than one commissioner or board meeting so that we don't violate the open meeting law. Is that what you were going to say, Maureen?
I was actually going to ask back to the turf, but we can go back to that.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
Anyway, that's going on. And I think nothing will probably come out immediately from that meeting, but we can talk about what might be the needs for Nantucket going over the next 5, 10, 20 years. Because as we all know, when you try to figure out space on this island, it's limited. And so maybe just identifying future properties that would be of interest for Parks and Rec or school or, and the land bank might help us identify those. So Maureen, you wanted to go back and ask a question?
I just was going to ask, you had said, Alan, previously that the bid had come in much higher than you had anticipated for the first round of maintenance. How did this bid fall, and what's the length? Is it a 3-year contract or
Sure. Yeah,
annual?
so the first bid came back about $4,000 higher than I originally anticipated, which pushed us over the kind of $10,000 threshold, which made us, and basically that happened because we added in the disinfection. So the disinfectant is about $4,000 per application to this field. So that pushed us from between the 7 and 8 range to the 11 to 12. And so when we hit that number, we then went to open procurement and put it out to bid. And so it's a 3-year contract for twice a year service. They're going to come out and service us ASAP, and then going forward it will be before the spring, and then before the fall seasons kick off every year. So the field will be will be decomp. They'll come out, they basically clean any debris off the field. They kind of suck up, clean, disinfect the infill product, lay it back down, level it. So it should be like a brand new field by the time they're done. And then once per year, they'll go through and do this GMAX test where they drop this weighted metal missile basically on different points of the field, and it collects the impact data, which is supposed to simulate like if you were to fall and your head hit the field. And that gives us a good indication on how the field is doing, the infill quality, and whether or not we'll need to add infill or whatnot going forward.
Okay. All right. Are there any other questions for Charlie, Nikki, or Andre?
No, I was actually going to mention about the land bank maybe helping with the school fields and stuff like that, because I had heard about that. So I was just going to ask you, but you've covered it. So
Good.
Great.
Good. Let's see, Shanta, do you have anything to add? I didn't see anything on the agenda, but I'll check with you anyway.
No, I don't, but thank you for asking.
Okay. And David, not sure if you had anything.
No, I have nothing either.
Great. So seeing that there are no other agenda items, am I right, Maureen? We'll be finished here in record time. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Nikki. Andre second, and I think we all approve. I would just add, I hope that everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving, and hope that I'll see many of you down there for the plunge. Right, Shanta?
Are you plunging?
No, sir.
I am not plunging this year. I usually wait for the year that it's 65 degrees And, but actually I've got some back problems I'm dealing with. So, but I will be there because my grandchildren will be plunging. And my
Excellent.
dog.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you all and have a great Thanksgiving.
Happy
Bye,
Thanksgiving.
everyone.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
See ya.